You might be like me and be wondering what this new app Parler is all about. Parler is a social networking site. It's like a Twitter alternative, and it's widely known right now for its right-wing user base. Being endorsed by Trump's team as well as many Republican politicians, the app has been blowing up with millions of downloads. Think of it like a safe space for people who claim to hate safe spaces. Founded in 2018 by one of the Property Brothers, who actually issued a bounty to any popular liberals willing to join the app. Now you might be saying, Twitter replacement, right-wing user base, this reminds me of something. Like that one website, Gab. Yeah, Gab was a similar website a few years ago. They tried to be a Twitter alternative and ended up with a right-wing user base that, what happened to Gab? Oh yeah, they became overrun with white supremacists almost immediately. But Parler isn't only right-wingers. It actually has a significant user base of Saudi nationalists, with over 200,000 accounts of supporters of the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, after the prince's, quote, electronic army was banned from Twitter. And that's sort of Parler's big claim, is that they're against that sort of thing. They're against banning. Yet they've been banning users from the start, all while letting an Arkansas cop threaten to kill Democrats. So is Parler a haven for guys in their trucks to finally get out their totally decent and not racist views, or is it the last bastion of free speech? Well, Ted Cruz endorses the platform, so you tell me. God, can we get any censorship on his beard? That is a terrible... This is coming from someone with a bad beard. That is an awful beard. Coming from the French word for speak, Parler, which used to be called Parler until they realized that nobody in their user base would want to speak French, officially launched in 2018 with 100,000 users. Quickly got more and more as they got endorsed by Candace Owens, Mike Lee, Rudy Giuliani, Milo Yiannopoulos, Gavin McInnes, or as I like to call them, the Please Commit Suicide Squad. Parler's CEO told news organizations that although he had intended Parler to be bipartisan, the site focused its marketing efforts towards conservatives as they began to embrace the website. Now in June 2019, this is what I mentioned earlier, Parler said that its user base more than doubled when 200,000 accounts from Saudi Arabia signed up for the network. Now these were all supporters of the controversial Crown Prince, who you might remember from when the CIA revealed that he ordered the death of a Saudi journalist in Istanbul in 2018, so he's a cool guy. Really cool guy. He actually loves pro wrestling, and I want to do a video on him in the future because his obsession with 90s wrestling is, yeah, this guy's nuts. Twitter described this as an electric army of accounts, inauthentic accounts, pushing the Saudi government's agenda. Parler described the Saudi accounts as part of the nationalist movement of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and encouraged other users to welcome them to the service. Some of the Saudi users tweeted hashtag MAGA and posted pictures of Donald Trump with Saudi royal family to try to gain favor with the Trump supporters, but they were met with a mixed reception, to put it nicely. Now, earlier this summer, Twitter started blocking posts with blatant lies or threats. So when Donald Trump's tweets about mail-in ballots were flagged as potentially misleading, and a tweet regarding the George Floyd protests as glorifying violence, Parler published a Declaration of Internet Independence, modeled after the United States Declaration of Independence. I'd pay good money to see the National Treasure where they have to steal the Declaration of Internet Independence from some incel's bedroom. Parler even started using the hashtag Twexit, as a reference to Brexit, describing Twitter as a tech tyrant. Now in June, right-wing English media personality Katie Hopkins was kicked off Twitter for, quote, hateful conduct. A fake Katie Hopkins account actually got on Parler a few hours later and was able to scam people out of about $500 in donations so that she could sue Twitter over the ban. Parler removed the impersonator account, obviously, but that's not the only kind of account that Parler has removed. Parler has removed and censored a lot of comedians who oppose conservatives. And I should be clear, Parler has a right to do so. They have a right to ban whoever they want off of their platform, which is great. They should have that right. But what's not great is that the site continues to pretend that it's some kind of free speech alternative to Twitter when it's facing the exact same issues, and it's pretty silly for Parler's CEO to refer to Twitter as a techno-fascist company when they're doing the same thing. So nobody watching this video should think that Parler is somehow any more pro-free speech than Twitter is, or that it doesn't pull down content or accounts, because it does, and it has, and it will. But the issue is it's not pulling down the right accounts to build an active community, a non-biased community. They say they want to be this voice of the people as a platform, but they're pulling down any accounts that oppose them. The hypocrisy is, oh, you could eat it like a fine cake. Yeah, they're not pulling down the right accounts. They're not pulling down accounts inciting literal violence. As the results for the presidential election unfolded last week, the police chief of Marshall, Arkansas, a town so small I'm pretty sure it's actually inside of a Marshall's, it's somewhere north of Little Rock, he'd shared his feelings of rage online. Will you and several hundred more go with me to D.C. and fight our way into Congress and arrest every Democrat who participated in this coup? We have to shoot and kill as many of the communist, BLM, and Antifa Democrat foot soldiers to accomplish this. Death to all Marxist Democrats. Take no prisoners and leave no survivors. Now, roughly a day later, this idiot was out of a job, and his Parler account has since been made private, but not deleted. He also encouraged his followers to throw water on Democrats while in restaurants and to push them off sidewalks, calling them traitors who have no right to live in this republic after what they've done. But he's who you want on your platform? He's who you want involved in your discourse? He apparently even has ties to the Proud Boys, which, you know, a cop having ties to the Proud Boys. Go figure. Now, on October 1st, it came out that Russian company Internet Research Agency, that's a sentence that makes you sound like you have a Russian accent, Russian company Internet Research Agency. But anyway, the Russian company Internet Research Agency, who you might remember from their hit song interfering with the 2016 presidential election, had been operating social media accounts on both mainstream and smaller platforms. Now, one of their key accounts that hadn't found much of an audience on mainstream platforms had caught on these alt-tech platforms. On Twitter, some of these accounts only had 200 followers, but on Parler, they have 14,000. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn all took action to suspend the accounts that were involved in this from their platforms, but not Parler. Also, if you're getting radicalized through LinkedIn, like, dude, you need help. Parler even declined that they were going to terminate these accounts, saying that they didn't need to unless they were contacted directly by U.S. law enforcement. Lucky for us, U.S. law enforcement is too busy telling everybody to push down Democrats in restaurants and pour water on them, so I think we're okay. Now, Parler is experiencing another surge right now. With people frustrated with Trump losing the election, Parler is #1 in the App Store. It's been downloaded nearly 1 million times in the week following the election. But how long can Parler keep it up? I mean, many high-profile conservatives who open accounts on Parler, they stop using the platform within a month or two. A lot of people think that they kind of just view this as backup accounts in case Twitter bans them. And Parler is well aware of the alt-right, conspiratorial, anti-Semitic, anti-feminist, anti-Muslim content. But Parler doesn't want to get rid of any of that. They don't care. Political scientist Alison Dagnes put it really well when she said, "I don't think you can have it both ways. There's no such thing as civilized hate speech." And that's really what it comes down to, because what do these people think Facebook and Twitter is censoring? Their anti-Muslim views, their anti-Semitic views? That's trash. That doesn't belong anywhere. Parler's site guidelines disallow content including pornography, obscenity, indecency, which are 3 of my stripper names, false rumors, promoting marijuana, and fighting words. Yep, you can call for the death of Democrats, but no fighting words, you hear? After Parler banned a bunch of accounts, their CEO published a post on the website outlining some of the site's rules. Some of the rules in this post included not publishing photos of feces, a piece of their user agreement which now allowed Parler to remove any content at any time for any reason or no reason, which, you know, kind of seems against the whole idea of the thing, and a rule that would require a user pay for any of Parler's legal expenses incurred as a result of them using the site. That's insane. But this hasn't stopped huge Facebook event pages from popping up promoting the idea of Trump supporters leaving these platforms come November 13th. It even seems as though they have this bizarre violation point system, which reminds me of the Chinese social credit score. It's not clear exactly how many Parler users there are currently, but on Sunday, their CEO bragged that he received 2 million new users. This probably makes their user base close to 5 million, but with Twitter having 330 million, is Parler really here to stay? It's hard to tell. I mean, if Trump starts an account, I could see it taking off, but it's become popular before and then been deserted so many times that I feel like it would need something big. Let's hope something big doesn't come. I didn't make an account, and neither should you. Leave this dumpster fire burning in the alley. Hopefully, it'll put itself out. Guys, thanks for checking out my video. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. And if you like weird internet stories, check out my podcast, Extremely Internet, that I do about weird internet stories and internet culture. I also have a podcast called Development Hell about movies that were really fucking hard to make, so check them out, and you'll probably like one of them. Thanks for watching, guys.